This is the IELTS listening test, created and published by IELTSonlinetests.com 2025. You will hear a number of different recordings and you have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given 2 minutes to check your answer. Now turn to part 1.
Part 1.
You will hear a conversation between a male clerk in a hire company and a woman customer. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this example will be played first.
Hello, welcome to Harry's Hire Company. How can I help you?
Oh, hi, yes. I've come in to find out about renting stuff for a 21st birthday party.
Yes, of course.
The customer says she wants to rent equipment for a birthday party. So birthday party has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello, welcome to Harry's Hire Company. How can I help you?
Oh, hi, yes. I've come in to find out about renting stuff for a 21st birthday party.
Yes, of course. First of all, what date is the party?
It's next Saturday. That was the closest we could get to the actual birthday, which is the 22nd of November. Gosh, it's hard to believe it was 21 years ago. Seems like yesterday.
So the 18th of November?
No, sorry. I meant the following Saturday, the 25th.
Okay, we have just about everything here. Tableware, marquees, you name it, we rent it. What size of event are we talking about here?
Yes, that's a good question. We were planning to have about 40 people, but you know how these things grow, and it went up to 60 at one stage. I think it's back to 55 now. Yes, that's right. It was all getting a bit out of hand.
Okay. And what kind of catering and entertainment are you having? We can help with entertainment hire too. You know, if you need microphones or a sound system.
Oh, that's good. We've booked a catering company and they're providing a meal. It's nothing elaborate, just finger food snacks and then a simple buffet meal. So we'll need all the usual dinner plates and bowls. I suppose 5 dozen of everything. Oh, and knives and forks too, 5 dozen sets. We won't need any cooking equipment because the caterers will do that. And they're providing tea and coffee as well.
I see. And do you need any tables or chairs?
Well, not tables because we wouldn't have room for them. But I suppose some extra chairs might come in handy. What type do you have?
Come over here and I'll show you. We have a couple of different kinds. We do have the folding wooden ones, like these. But the most popular ones are just those stackable plastic garden chairs. We rent a lot of those.
Yes, the plastic ones look great. Maybe 40 of those.
Okay. I'm making a list here as we speak. Was there anything else? Oh, do you want small or medium glasses? People generally want both sizes.
Yeah, better get both kinds. 4 dozen of each. And what else? The caterers are supplying a punch bowl, so that's okay. Oh, I know. What about 6 ice buckets for keeping the drinks cold? We're providing all the drinks because I have a friend who's helping us with that. I suppose this is going to get very expensive.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Well, let's talk about our packages and rental deals. Firstly, what day do you want to collect the equipment?
Oh, I'm not sure. Does that make a difference to the price?
Well, the weekend package deal is to pick up after 5 p.m. on Friday and drop off before 10 a.m. on Monday. That will be $1,600 plus tax. If you want to save a bit of money, you can collect the equipment on the day of the party before 5 p.m. and drop off on the Monday before 10 a.m. and that will be $1,350 plus tax. That's called the same day package. Your party numbers come between our small and medium price packages, I'm afraid. So in fact, you could rent a few extra of everything for the same price.
I see. Well, we're not inviting more guests. I think we have quite enough already. Are there any other hidden charges with those packages?
No, not really. But if you want us to drop off and pick up at your house, there is an extra home delivery charge of $50, provided you live within 10 kilometres of here. Oh, and if you want to take out breakage insurance, that's a $60 flat fee. Otherwise, you pay for every item you break at the replacement cost.
Wow, so how much is that then? I bet that soon adds up.
Well, yes, it does a bit. Let's see. Tableware is $3.55 a piece, small glasses are $3.50, and medium glasses are $4.40. Oh, and if you break a chair, they're expensive, $15 each, and you'll be surprised what happens when the party gets going.
Yes, insurance sounds like a good idea. And I think I'll take the weekend package deal, thanks. It's much more convenient, isn't it? And not much more expensive.
Okay, so let's take a few details then. Your name?
Oh, it's Susan Millins.
Is that Miller?
No, it's Millins.
Right, and your address, please?
28B Sandstone Close, Martinsborough.
And just to confirm the order, the medium-sized party weekend package with breakage insurance. And did you want to collect this yourself?
Yes, thank you. I do live within 10 k's, but I don't want to pay any extra charges. I'll get my son to help me.
Okay, we'll need an emergency contact number, just in case anything goes wrong. Oh, and credit card details, of course.
Oh, yes, of course. The phone number is 084-398-7695.
Okay, thank you. And now the credit card.
That is the end of part 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 1.
Part 2. You will hear an information announcement on a ferry. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 16.
Hello and welcome aboard the Malmo Seafarer. My name's Sam, and I'll be your head of hospitality during your voyage. First, let me give you details of some of the facilities we have on board. We're currently standing in the foot passenger main entrance on the blue deck. If you're feeling hungry, you can go up the stairs to the red deck, where you'll find the restaurant directly above us. Meal times are very busy, so to avoid the queues, we recommend that you reserve a table at reception, which is on this deck, just along from the main entrance. For those of you looking for some entertainment while you're on board, we'll be screening a variety of films throughout the voyage. Our 60-seater cinema is on the green deck on the opposite side of the ship to the cabins. If you need to keep the kids entertained, then feel free to drop them off at our kids' play area, which is just down the stairs from the bar. The area comes equipped with an indoor playground and an arcade with all the latest video games. Shopaholics should check out our shop zone, which is just next door to where we are now, towards the bow of the ship. Everything on sale is duty-free. Anyone wanting to relax should head to the top level of the boat, where you can find our open-air sun lounge just next to the bar. Don't worry if the sun hides away during our journey. There are lots of heaters to keep you warm when it's chilly. Towards the stern on this deck, you'll find the observation platform. A great place to take in the stunning views during our journey. However, make sure you wrap up in a warm coat, as it can get pretty windy on a day like today, and there's no heating on the platform.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 17 to 20.
Okay, so let me give you some details of our voyage. The journey will be approximately 11 hours long. We'll be leaving the port of Malmo at 10 a.m. and we're scheduled to reach our destination of Rostock at 9 in the evening. For those of you continuing your travels by train, you'll have plenty of time to make your connection, as the trains from Rostock run until 12 a.m. or midnight. If you want to avoid the queues at the train station, you can buy your tickets in advance from the information desk here at the main entrance. All passengers on the Malmo Seafarer can get train tickets for 10% off. If you're planning to take the bus from Rostock Port instead of the train, you can also get a discount on tickets. We don't sell bus tickets on board. But if you show your Seafarer boarding pass to the driver when you get on the bus in Rostock, you'll be able to pay a reduced fare. There are also lots of other services available here from the information desk. If you'd like to book one of our cabins for the duration of the voyage, or if you'd like to upgrade a standard cabin to a first-class one, come and speak to us. You can also book a guided tour of the ferry for just €7.99 and pick up a map of Rostock and the surrounding area free of charge. For those of you who need to check your email or work remotely during our journey, the cabins have a Wi-Fi connection that you can log into. Alternatively, feel free to make use of our communal office space on the same deck, where there are desks available for all passengers.
That is the end of part 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Part 3.
You will hear a conversation between two university students about an upcoming presentation on private space travel. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Right, so we really need to start planning our presentation on private space travel. It's in 2 weeks.
I know. The time's really flown by. How did you find researching the topic?
A lot more difficult than I was expecting. How about you?
Yeah, me too, to be honest. But I watched a show online the other week that was actually really informative.
I saw that. It was good, wasn't it? It had some interesting background information, but I'm not sure we can use that much in the actual presentation.
Yeah, you're right. What did you find helpful for your research? Did you find any good books?
Well, the most useful thing for me was that time we went to speak to that engineer from A-Space. I must have listened to that recording of our conversation about a dozen times.
That was great, wasn't it? When I started doing the research, I tried to use my notes from Dr. Waltz's lessons to put a plan together, but then I realised he mostly talked about state-run spaceflight, not private. So they didn't really help me that much.
Me neither. Something I found pretty tough was condensing what I'd found out. I mean, there's such a wealth of information out there if you look for it, but paring it down was pretty tricky.
I know what you mean. It was good that we had a really clear focus from the start. I think that really helped, but yeah, there's so much information to wade through.
What did you make of Cosmos Dollars by Professor Andrea Wilmington?
That's the book Dr. Waltz recommended, isn't it? Personally, I didn't like it at all.
Really? Do you mean the way it's written? It's very conversational.
No, I didn't mind that. I just felt it was all a bit superficial, you know? It didn't look past the surface level of the topic.
I think you're right. I also felt her research projects were too general. I didn't really feel like I learned that much from them at all.
Anyway, I feel like I've got enough for us to get started now. What about you?
Same. So how should we do this presentation then? The usual way with slides and pictures?
I think we should do something a little different. First, I think we should start with a video. I have a clip from that online show we could use.
That sounds great.
And after we've begun the presentation with that, I think we should just deliver it to the class without slides or anything.
Do you think that's a good idea? People like to have something to look at during a presentation.
I know what you mean, but I think this way, the audience can just concentrate on us and what we're saying, rather than simply reading whatever's on the slides.
I see where you're coming from. Perhaps to make them really focus on us, we could tell them not to make notes. We could give them a piece of paper with the key facts and our bibliography on at the end. But for the duration of our presentation, just keep the focus on us.
Exactly. I think that's a great idea.
It'll definitely be different from the other students. I'm sure they'll remember ours.
I hope so. But I think the best thing about doing it this way is that we can connect to everyone in the audience.
Yes, that's key. We want everyone to be able to follow it and get something out of it.
Definitely. We can still get deep into the topic, but I think we should try to make it feel like a conversation with a friend.
I think that's a really good idea.
Well, that's that agreed then.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
I think it makes sense to begin our presentation chronologically, don't you? Give the history?
Sure. So I guess we'd be starting in the 1950s?
Only for the very beginning. I mean, at that time, there were very few private entities involved in space exploration. It was basically nations and specifically the US and Russia.
I think you're right in the case of Russia, but weren't there quite a lot of private companies involved in the US space program?
Of course, you're right. NASA used a lot of different businesses as contractors, making different pieces of equipment for their rockets. Were any involved in the design process too?
No, I don't think they were the designers of anything. I think NASA kept that in-house. Anyway, we don't need to spend too long on that bit, I think. The real involvement of the private sector came with satellites.
Yes, for communications. It was in the early 60s that the US allowed anyone to operate satellites. And soon there was a vast network of them up in space, which we take for granted today.
We should stress that although they were privately owned, governments were still in charge of getting them up into space. There weren't any private launches until quite a few years later.
What was the first company to do that then?
A few different companies were setting things up at the same time, so it's not a clear-cut answer. Most agree that Arianespace was the first.
I didn't realize Arianespace was private. I thought it was part of the French government space agency.
Close. It was set up by the European Space Program, and a lot of the initial funding did come from the French government. But shortly after it was set up, it became a private company.
Oh, okay. Do we want to say much about Arianespace in the presentation?
No, I think it's just good background information. The bulk of our presentation should really focus on the early 21st century. That's when private spaceflight really started heating up.
I agree. I think we should give an overview of the main private spaceflight companies.
Me too. And I think we should focus on SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic. I think they show different sides of private spaceflight, but have some commonalities that mean we can link from one to the other.
Oh yeah? How do you mean?
Well, all three were set up by billionaire entrepreneurs who are often in the media and often seen as quite charismatic people.
I see. So SpaceX was set up by Elon Musk, right?
Yeah, and Blue Origin is Jeff Bezos' company, and they both made their fortunes from the internet.
Wasn't it shopping online specifically?
For Jeff Bezos, yes, but not so much for Elon Musk. What links them is their use of the web to become some of the richest people in the world.
Right, got you. What about Virgin Galactic? Richard Branson's in charge of that, right? He was rich before the internet was even around.
Yeah, so he doesn't have that connection. However, both his company and Jeff Bezos' company focus on developing suborbital space tourism, whereas Elon Musk's SpaceX has other priorities.
SpaceX are all about getting people into space and putting a man back on the moon, right?
Well, Elon Musk's ultimate goal is getting to Mars, but yes, SpaceX have a lot of contracts with NASA and have transported astronauts to the International Space Station.
Wasn't Jeff Bezos' company also after a NASA contract?
That's right. There was a contract to develop a moonlander that both Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin and Elon Musk's SpaceX bid for. SpaceX was ultimately successful in that one.
I didn't know that. So it seems like we can give an overview of the three companies and link from one to the other quite nicely.
I think so.
That is the end of part 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Part 4.
You will hear a talk about the practice of company outsourcing. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Welcome, class, to your very first lecture in this series on business in the modern world, conducted by myself, Dr. Toby Bennett. Today, we will be looking into the practice of company outsourcing, using TCP technologies as a case study. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this practice, I will give you a summative definition. Company outsourcing involves the contracting of various business activities by one company to another. This practice will sometimes occur from a Western company to a party based in a third world country, the rationale being to make significant financial savings on lower international labour rates and to potentially increase quality. Now, our case study for today is TCP Technologies, a party located in India that receives outsourced tasks from Western companies. The manager of TCP Technologies is a man called Manjeet Khanna, who has personally developed a series of aims and philosophies by which the company is expected to operate. He claims that the most important of these philosophies is to create a workplace where each individual member has the opportunity to contribute their opinion to the operations of the company. That is to say that he found it important to develop a democratic environment. As a means of ensuring quality from every individual at TCP Technologies, a grading system has been developed that encourages an ethos of hard work and recognizes accomplishment. This grading of individuals is based upon a series of factors such as turnover, hours worked, and efficiency. Every month, Khanna publishes the grades on an internal website, where staff can access not only their own grades, but also compare it to others. A spirit of playful competitiveness has developed through this method, which has resulted in increased efficiency and turnover across the company. Khanna also saw it as essential to develop a culturally diverse group of employees as a means of presenting a multifaceted image that would appeal to a host of potential employees from across the globe. This cultural openness has not only increased the quantity of incoming contracted opportunities by 7%, but has also benefited the company itself significantly. A level of transparency now exists that had not before been apparent. According to questionnaires carried out recently, these newly introduced measures have significantly increased the rate of staff satisfaction, which has subsequently led to an increase of 32% in the company's income. These figures are truly admirable and serve as a testament to the measures that Khanna has introduced to the workplace at TCP Technologies. In a recent interview published by The Economist, he declared, "The figures speak for themselves. My system works." When asked if he had any advice for companies on methods they could employ to streamline workflow and increase turnover, he replied, "It's simple, really. A company must see itself not as one entity comprised of nameless components, but instead as a living organism composed of cells, each one essential to the functioning of the whole. I suggest that the motto by which your management operates will be Employee First. Many benefits have been reaped from the aforementioned changes in management style, such as a significant decrease in staff turnover. This improvement alone has solved many problems that had before stunted the growth of the company. A lot of these improvements came from the realization that the solution does not have to be produced internally, but can come from any other company. The grading system also immeasurably enhanced the dynamics of the company. The fact that this measuring system is solely produced for staff members and inaccessible by management means that it cannot be used as a judging criterion for promotion. It has proven itself a relaxed and informal means of stimulating workflow. When asked about specific features of his managing style, Kana mentioned that it is important for him to respond personally to any complaints filed by staff members. Having found the existing complaints process slow and ineffective, he introduced a new online system that created a direct line of communication between Kana and all employees of the company. The complaint form, dubbed by Kana as a ticket, eradicates the middleman, is easily accessible to all employees online, and has an interface that can be instinctively navigated. Any staff-related complaint, such as those relating to air conditioning and food quality, can be submitted directly to Kana via this online system. Entitlement to vacation is also a popular issue discussed through this forum. The main benefit of using this system is that staff must include their personal details on the ticket before they are able to submit it. In the past, anonymous complaints had been the root of much confusion and caused many wasted work hours, so the new system has put a ban on this form of complaint. That wraps up the lecture for today. Please remember that attendance is mandatory.
That is the end of part 4. You now have 1 minute to check your answers to part 4. That is the end of the listening test.